But look, before that, the Ronaldo interview was it come out today. The first hour, the first part, or should we say, of Piers Morgan's interview with Ronaldo. What did you make of it, Jace? You know, look, we've seen the clips. You know, we've talked about it on the station for the last 3-4 days now.
It's dominated, isn't it?
It's dominated the stations, and we try and look past it. But tonight we saw the first proper hour of it, the full works. And what did you make of the whole thing? It just seemed all a bit staged and a bit... incredibly staged.
Piers, very good at his job, knows exactly what he's doing, but these questions were pre-planned. Ronaldo's got his answers. There were a couple of times where you felt that Ronaldo didn't quite give him enough of the answer and Piers would come in and prompt him.
Oh, yeah. What about the swimming pool?
Yes, the swimming pool. Yeah, there's bits there. And I don't quite get the end game with this, actually. I came into it with quite an open mind. Who's he got around him? Who are his advisors? This is worse than I thought. Far worse than I thought. I don't think he comes out of it particularly well. I have to say, I don't think he's a particularly nice person.
Really? Would go that far?
That came across. There is the unbelievable
it was a bit harsh.
lack of... No, I don't think it is, actually. I think the unbelievable lack of self-awareness. Every answer that he gave, everything was about him. That the way he spoke about the young kids, he's asking about he's an example. He sees himself as an example. He doesn't even realize he sees himself as an example. If that was in the dressing room and I'm a young boy at Man United, I don't want to be that person. I want to be that player. I don't want to be that person. And you're talking about examples of what he done when he walked off down the tunnel. I'm not sure he does actually set a good example. I think unbelievable player. We all know how good he is, but it comes across quite obvious that he's in the last 20 years hasn't had to deal with criticism, hasn't had to deal with being left out the squad, the team, hasn't had to deal with rejection. This is the first time in his life, and he lives in a bubble. And footballers, as footballers, I've been out the game quite a long time. You've been in the game longer than me, or it's more recent than me. But actually, footballers are in bubbles, and we are treated differently. But I'm looking at a man there that no one around him has ever said anything to him that's been, and maybe that's a good thing for his career, but it's come home to roost now, it would appear. And whoever thinks that's a good idea, whoever told him, or maybe hasn't got people around him that will give him a bit of truth, that to me is someone there that's deluded if he thinks this has been a good idea. Worse than I thought. Far worse than I thought. The lack of self-awareness in every answer.
I just thought the mannerisms of it all was just so arrogant, so self-indulgent.
Completely self-indulgent. And I don't know.
Piers, he's rubbing his hands together.
Listen.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, this is falling off a log for Piers, right? He's interviewed, presidents. He interviews politicians. This guy knows how to go out and get stuff out of people that don't want to give him stuff.
Yeah.
This is a guy that wants to give him stuff. So this is food and drink for Piers. He knows exactly what he's doing, and it's, as far as we're concerned, it's a brilliant interview. But it's so staged, and it's
shocking.
there, and the answers are there. What is the end game? Well,
he wants to get sacked. That's the end game, in my opinion.
Jay, do you know what?
My opinion, I think he wants to get sacked. Look, some of that I agree with in terms of what he says about young players, in terms of now how they get a lot handed on a silver platter, you'd say, and they get things handed to them a lot easier than maybe how you work for it, how I work for it. But if you're Cristiano Ronaldo and you're coming into a football club, if I'm at Manchester United and I'm a young lad, I would be obsessed with asking him questions. I'd be driving him mad. I'd be watching him every day. Watching that interview, and he says he's an example to players. Watching that interview, Jace, I look at him and think, I don't know if I'd really want to ask you a question because you might throw me a custard pie.
I don't think you'd... Looking at the way he spoke there, I'm not sure he's that approachable.
No, he doesn't seem approachable.
And then you think about what he said his best captain, Roy Keane. I can only imagine what Roy Keane would have been like around the dressing room as a young player. That ability to speak and go, no, I know Roy Keane could be brutal as well. But what I've watched there, just the way he spoke, the generalisation about young kids, right? There are some wonderful... We're going to see him in the World Cup.
Yeah, of course.
Right? He's played at Real Madrid. What about some of the young kids that have come through at Real Madrid in his time since he's been there? I felt... Do you know what? I felt he belittles everyone. I'm the best that's ever been. No one's ever going to be as good as me.
Yeah.
We know how brilliant he is, but the way that just the choice of language.
Yeah.
I know English is not his natural. Is
Do you think he's an example to young players?
Not if you get to know him, it wouldn't appear. Off the pitch, You know, I wouldn't have... That's off the pitch. I've never heard him interviewed like... I don't particularly like him. There's no warmth there for me. It's about him. And like I said, the lack of ability to take some criticism and take a hit, take a bit of a knock professionally. Now, we know what happened to him personally, and I don't know what that's like to go through. He went through one of the... No parent should ever see their child die.
Of course.
So he has gone through a trauma that I can't speak about, right? So I don't know what effect that's had on him as well, right? And he spoke about that. He spoke about that at length. There'll be more tomorrow about how Manchester United treated him during that period. But I think there's going to be a lot of upset people. I think that I'm not sure what the end game is here. I'm not sure what his purpose is. You'll say it's to get sacked. I don't know, mate. I think
He wants out. He wants out.
He wants out. I don't think he wants sacked. I'm not sure that's the case, but after watching that, he'll always find a club because he's Ronaldo. But
yeah, but you say that, Jace. If you're an owner of a football club or a manager of a football club like a Bayern Munich, a Juventus, a Sporting Lisbon, teams that he'd be interested in signing for potentially, if you're watching that and you're a manager, I don't think you'd want him.
No.
I think you'd go, you know what? I know he's been a great player and he's still probably got a lot to offer.
Well, you'd be worried
but
about
if he's
him.
going to act like that and he's going to say things like that about his teammates and the young players and me as a manager, I'm all right, thanks.
Well, you've got to play him every week because it's the first time really in his career where he hasn't been number one. You know, even under Ollie played him, right? He scored lots of goals. There's no getting away from it. But I remember you in the summer asking me, would you have him at Chelsea? And I wouldn't because I made the point about the Ronaldo circus. No one saw this coming. I mean, you know...
Would you have him at Chelsea?
No chance. I said that in the summer. Nothing's changed. No. But there will be a club that will take him. Now, financially, I don't know how what his wages are or where he goes from here, but I just come away from it, you know, not that impressed with him.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.